You might have attempted NEET once, twice, thrice, or even more than 3 times. And after all the years of struggle, you have finally made it into a medical college of your choice. As you're sailing through the first days of your MBBS days, which I would say is probably one of the best days ever in the whole of your MBBS, this is a time where students usually have a lot of queries regarding MBBS. They will have a lot of questions regarding the post-NEET life and the new life as a doctor which they have decided to pursue. In this video, I will be trying to answer some of the frequently asked questions which many students have asked me in my WhatsApp or in my other social media accounts. If you found the answers in this video helpful, and if you do have such queries, you can ask them in the comment section below, or I have put the links for my contact. You can contact me in those links. So let's get started. Myself, Omer Mohammed. I'm currently a third year MBBS student studying at Government Medical College, Kozhikode. I gave my NEET examination during 2019 and I was able to secure an All India rank of 1016. So let's get started with the questions. Okay, so we begin with the first question, that is, do we have to study hard in MBBS like we prepare for NEET? What you need to realize is that NEET is actually a one-time event, whereas MBBS is a long journey. It's a process of 5.5 years, and in fact it is the first stepping stone to becoming a doctor. And everything about MBBS is entirely different from what you have gone through your NEET years. In our NEET years, it's all about theory, it's about NCRT, it's about practicing a lot of objective questions and previous year question papers. Everything is centered, our entire life is centered purely on cracking the NEET entrance examination. Whereas during our MBBS years, we have a lot of other things going on in our life. It might be the first time where most of us will be staying in hostels far away from our parents. And in college, there are a lot of things which are going on with the campus life. Even the academics is entirely different. We do not have a standard textbook like NCRT. And it's not just about theory, it's a very practical course where right from the second year onwards, you will have the opportunity to meet with patients and go through clinical rotations right from the second year till the end of your MBBS. So I would say that it's entirely different. And if you ask me which is difficult or which journey is better, is it the MBBS or the NEET journey, I would guarantee you that if you ask any doctor or MBBS student which part of their life is better or which part would they go through again, I'm sure that most of them, if not all, would say that their MBBS days are far better than their NEET days. And I guess that would answer this question. The next question is ragging still prevalent in medical colleges? Well, the answer is kind of subjective because it depends a lot upon your medical college itself, which state you are in. What I know is that ragging does exist in some form in most colleges. However, there are some colleges where they have segregated between the first years from the seniors, and in different hostels, and they stay in different hostels. The first year students stay in different hostels, and as a result, there is not much of interaction with the seniors. However, there are different forms of ragging which occur in most colleges in the name of introduction and so on. There are some colleges where you have to call your seniors by sir or madam, and such form of ragging does exist. Personally, in my own medical college, the incidence of ragging has reduced significantly, but it would not be right to say that ragging has been completely eradicated from medical colleges. Okay, so now we have an interesting question which most students, first MBBS students especially, would like to ask. That is, can we treat patients in our first year of MBBS? I'm sure that when we enter medical colleges, we all have a purpose, that we want to see the patients immediately, treat them and be doctors. But that's not how reality works. When we enter MBBS for the first year, or in our first year of MBBS, it's actually going to be a lot of theory and very little in the clinical side. It's because to treat a human, to treat a patient, we need to first know how a normal human body functions. And that's exactly what we are going to learn in our first MBBS. Our first MBBS life is going to be in dissection halls, in theory classes, and in labs. There is not going to be much of clinical exposure, or you won't be seeing much of the patients. Even though you will have opportunity to use the stethoscope and do some basic investigations such as checking for BP and so on, you will really not interact much with the patients. So the question is, when do you see the patients? Well, your patient interaction actually starts from your second year onwards. That is, from the day one of your second year up until the end of MBBS. Every day you will be posted in some clinical department and you will continuously rotate throughout the year. So that's about that question. One thing to note is that in the new curriculum there is more clinical exposure compared to the previous curriculum. However, still we could say that in the first year of MBBS the patient interaction will be really less. Okay, moving on to the next question. Which is better, being a hostler or being a day scholar? I guess this is one of the questions where I'm really qualified to answer, because I have had my fair share of time both as a hostler and as a day scholar. Every year I spend nearly half the time as a hostler and as a day scholar. If you ask me why do I do something like that, that's due to personal reasons. So I would like to share the pros and cons of being a hostler and that of being a day scholar. So let's begin with the part of hostler. Actually, the pros and cons of being a hostler are in fact the same. The reasons are kind of the same. What are the advantages? First advantage which I found is that it's for the first time where we can have our independent life. So it's a time for our own personal growth, to develop self-care, self-discipline and so on. And also hostel life is kind of more fun when we think about it, where we spend and interact most of our time with our friends and seniors. So it has that aspect. Hostel life is also better if you are more interested in the extracurricular side. Hostels usually have more opportunities to deal with extracurricular part of their college, which is in fact a major part of your MBBS life. And also hostels do provide a good space for you if you are someone who loves to study in groups. So group study happens more in hostels than as a day scholar. That's, I would say, some of the advantages of being a hostler. What are the disadvantages? Personally, I felt that my food habits and sleep habits have deteriorated when I'm in hostels. Also, one other thing is about distractions. Once we enter hostels, as we become independent, we have to be more responsible. So if we are irresponsible, then we'll have to pay a cost for that. If you fail to manage yourself or your time properly in hostels, all of the fun which I have said earlier could turn into distractions. So that's about hostel life. Now when it comes to the part of day scholar, the biggest advantage which I found is that I could enjoy good food and have a better sleep schedule. These are the two most important advantages which I have personally felt when I am a day scholar. The other advantage is that, as I have said, distractions are far less when I'm staying at my home. Also, if you're someone who loves to have a really close connection with your family, the one thing about MBBS is that in MBBS we do not have much vacation. So if you're a hostler, there's a huge chance that you're most likely going to spend your time away from your family. So if you're someone for whom maintaining a relation with your family is a priority for you, then being a day scholar has its advantage. What are the disadvantages? Just as I've mentioned for hostlers, some of the disadvantages is that your involvement in extracurricular activities and group studies will be lesser. It will be more difficult for you to be part of the college union and other extracurricular stuff. Nevertheless, students do manage, even day scholars do manage both of these things very well. It depends a lot upon the individual, and I'm pretty sure that there are many factors when it comes to being a hostler or a day scholars. I have just decided to share what I have personally experienced in my 3 years as a day scholar and as a hostler. So we move on to the next question, which is what books to follow during the first year of MBBS. I guess it could be answered in a different video. I'm planning to do a separate video on this topic because it needs a little bit of discussion. As for now, you have 3 subjects in your first year of MBBS, that is anatomy, physiology and biochemistry. These are going to be the most basic sciences, and we have foreign textbooks, that is textbooks written by foreign authors, and there are some textbooks which are written by the Indian authors. Our colleges usually prescribe some of or most of the textbooks which we have to follow, and usually the students mostly follow the Indian authors, and we use the foreign authors textbooks for reference. As I've said, I'll be planning to make a whole video on this topic, inshallah, and with that we'll move on to the next question. Next up is the last question in this session, and that is, are new changes in MBBS curriculum important? Yes, they are really significant. For those of you who have no idea what the new changes are, NMC has made significant changes for the new batch, that is right from the beginning of 2022 MBBS batch, and I have made a detailed video on this topic. I have put the link in description. I guess that would answer all the important questions regarding the new curriculum and the necessary changes which every first year MBBS student must know. With that, I guess that would be for this video. If you do like this video and found the answers helpful, do like, share and subscribe. In this channel, I will be posting more videos. If you do have similar questions about first MBBS, you can ask in the comment section below. I'll be trying to answer them as much as possible from my side. I have also been posting a bunch of videos regarding educational videos on different topics in medicine. You could check them out on my channel. Do share this video, subscribe, and thank you.